Happy Saturday! It's another week in Ryunohara, and today I'm going to show you what a $10,000 house is like. 10,000 US dollars it is. And my friends, two friends, have purchased a house just 5 minutes up. The papers have not been cleared yet, but payment has been made and we've got the keys. So we're going to take a look at the house, and I am going to have to cut the grass all around so that the Takimotos, the carpenters, can do some work on the house once the papers are done. They're going to build a car park and, well, you'll see. So I'm going to get my gear and load up the car. That's my lawnmower. It's kerosene run. And that's the kerosene. It's actually kerosene and petrol. It's a mix. Here's an interruption. Last night I didn't really sleep very well because there was someone trying to bite his or her way out of a cage the whole night, or maybe banging his or her head on a cage. And this wasn't Washi, of course. It's another fella. Meet Nashi. And Nashi, this little fella here, is called Nashi, and Nashi means without, or nothing, or yeah, lacking, because this little fella went into the cage that I had loaded up but not baited. So it was in there, right there, because I knew there was another mouse somewhere, leaving poop behind. This little fella poops a lot again, just like Washi. And Nashi here got caught without anything in the trap. So this little fella just got into the trap, and I felt very bad after I heard it call out at about 2 o'clock, because there was a huge pum when the trap closed, and there was this little fella. So I broke some biscuits up and gave it to him or her, which explains the amount of poop. This may be Washi's friend. Actually, Washi might have been a girl. The genitalia look quite different. This one might be a boy, I'm not sure. It's very small, so I can't see. But this might be Washi's boyfriend, and I'm going to, or brother, and I'm going to send this little fella back to the river after I cut the grass, so that he or she will be reunited with Washi, hopefully. Oh, hi. I have a friend whose name is Hui Ting. Hui Ting, see? Winking at you. It's cute from nose to tail. Look at her cute ears. Mice are very clean creatures. Hey. Okay, good girl. Here we are at the $10,000 house, US dollars. And you can see lots of grass there that needs to be cut off, well, trimmed. So I'm going to do some trimming. The Takimotos, father and son, are both there. The younger Takimoto is plucking something called fuki, which we can eat. And it's a lot of work, as you can see. They also help me, so they will start working on the grass at the back in just a moment. This is the house. It's another Kayabuki house. It's a Miss Kenta's Reed house, covered with zinc, of course. The Takimotos did it 1 or 2 years ago. And this plot of land, it's huge. It extends from behind the camera to over there where we started. Goes up all the way, actually all the way to the trees there, and comes down. So I forgot to bring the keys. Sorry about that. So I'll come back another day and show you what's inside. But the outside, you can see it's a kind of big house. There's a, well, I won't tell you what's outside, inside, but behind there's a whole forest. And we're going to cut down about 10 trees because it's very dangerous to have cedar trees so close to your house. Cedar trees are well known for causing landslides because they have very shallow roots compared to other trees. You need to have a forest with many kinds of trees. So when we cut down those 8 trees, 9 and maybe 10, 11 over there, they say that will cost about 80,000 yen, about $800. I think that's for 8 trees. So that will go towards the materials for the house. It will be dried and then used by the Takimotos for carpentry work in this house. And then for that area, I'm intending to replace the trees here with other kinds of trees like maple, shorter trees, maybe some sakura. Sakura can grow very tall, so maybe just one, some tea trees, and slowly as we remove more and more of the sugi trees, the cedar trees, with permission from the owner, that belongs to a different owner, then we will, well, actually the owner's the same, but since they've sold this part of land to us, now they are just owning that part of land. So we have to ask for permission and then plant other kinds of trees there, so that we have more diversity. So slowly, bit by bit. The thing about houses like this is that only the old people know exactly where the boundaries are, because even the survey map doesn't actually show what's on the ground. The survey map for this area is 100 years old. So he's telling me exactly who owns what, and he's saying that everything here belongs to your friend now, please cut all the grass. And there I am laughing at the prospect of cutting grass forever. So the plot of land here is huge. I think it's over 735 square meters. That's way over 7,000 square feet, and a lot of it is filled with grass. Well, vegetation. And here Mr. Takimoto is showing me what he wants to do with the drainage, because the water that comes down the mountain when it rains it comes down as a huge stream. So he's proposing to build a drain. He's showing that there will be a box here for the pipe to go into the underground as a U-shape, half underground as a U-shaped channel. And once it goes, I'm turning the camera around, it will become another box here, so that the water can then be channeled underground off into the drain out beside the road. On this side of the house, the front, he's proposing the building of a stone wall, a very vertical one, so that he can fill up the land in front of the house to build a parking lot. At the moment, this plot of land has no parking lot, so the cars have to park on the road, and that blocks off the neighbor next door. And here I am saying, oh yes, it will be a vertical drop, and say yes, and it'll be something done in the next couple of months, 1 or 2 months at least, before the works can start on the house itself. So it'll be level with the concrete that you see right here in front of the house. The car will go in, turn out to where the road isn't right now, where the land will be filled, and then it can go out. Finally here, Mr. Takimoto is showing me the fuki. Fuki is something you can eat. It's a very delicious vegetable that grows everywhere, and he's telling me that it can be eaten in all seasons, including for Obon, which is a season coming up right now. In about 2 weeks, when ancestors are supposed to visit, they'll be treated to a bit of fuki when they come. Mm.
これ佃煮に炊くね。
なるほど。
山椒入れて。
はい。で、仏さんの分が。
仏さんの分もこう仏さんにする。
あ、全部。
うん。これ佃煮に炊くね。
なるほど。
家の後ろでもあれ植えといたらいいね。椿の。
They are suggesting that I plant some of the fuki at Ryunohara just below that tsubaki tree, and Mr. Takimoto here is saying that if I ever have the vegetables to eat, I can just cut off some fuki in front of the house. How nice would that be? And I'm not sure if Mori agrees, because she doesn't eat vegetables, but she will probably like the fact that I have enough food for myself so that I can give her everything else. Here she's getting a year-up. And the Takimotos were done. They volunteered to help me with this, so I'm really grateful for their help. It's a lot of work. cutting grass. So the carpenters have left. They have gone off to do some work, and just wanted to show you the landscape here. You can see mountains from over there, and it's summer so you don't get the clouds, but when it rains you see all the clouds rolling in. It's just a sea of clouds in front of you, and we're going to use this as a barbecue space. The land behind, I'm going to plant lots of tea trees along in the years to come. And then lots of maple trees along the side. Those will take about 10-20 years to grow nicely. But in many years, when you sit here, you'll see a dash of colors in the autumn. You have tea to drink from all over there. This plot of land actually goes all the way to the trees there. All the way to where the car was. All the way to behind this tree. There's a yuzu tree behind. It's huge. So the problem you get when you buy land in rural Japan, like Wakayama, is that you're left with a lot to manage, and you are expected to cut the grass, keep it clean, because it's a courtesy to the neighbors. It's dangerous to have lots of plants like growing very thickly, because then there could be snakes, wild boar can hide, monkeys will come. So you need to cut the grass back to a certain point. Firstly, you keep the neighbors happy, and also you keep the house safe, because if you have too much moisture near the house will get rot. So if you ever buy land in Japan, for $10,000 US dollars, you get to buy the entire plot here. Actually, the owner would be happy to sell us the forest too, for just a couple thousand, but just know that buying a forest will require you to maintain all the trees. You have to chop down trees that are nearby people's houses, and it costs money to cut down, because there has to be machinery that comes up. So if you ever buy a forest, just know that you could redevelop it like a sugi forest or a cedar forest like this. You can slowly plant other kinds of plants, but it's a lot of work. The owner of this plot of land, I'll turn the camera around. The previous owner of this plot of land owned the entire mountain. So it goes all the way up, all the way to that side, all the way to that side. It's a very, very huge piece of land. And if you own all these trees, if one of those trees drops on your neighbor's house, good luck to you, because you would be sued. So you would not want to have a forest too nearby your house, unless it's just you alone. So for that reason, my friends have decided not to buy the forest yet. We'll see how much the taxation is, how big the land actually is, and have the surveyors have yet to come to this part of the village to have a look. So once the surveyors are done, they know exactly how big the land is, then my friends may decide to buy the forest here. It's important to buy a forest also. On one side it's really troublesome. On the other side, if you don't buy the forest, somebody else does. And if you really love the trees here, the next person could chop down all the trees and you're left with nothing behind you. And if you're left with nothing behind you, there's a risk of landslides for the first few years the next crop of trees are planted. So there's a reason to buy the forest and a reason not to. The thing is, this forest here, if you go inside this way, you can sort of find lots of medicinal herbs and sansho, like peppers and all that. So it's really nice to explore. I'm going to explore this mountain soon when I have a friend around, because you don't want to go into a mountain alone. We are back at the river, and this time Nashi is going to be let go. So Murray, I'm going to let Nashi go. Don't chase after Nashi, okay? Nashi, stay with you. Go. Yes, go. Bye-bye. Yeah. Oh, don't come back, don't come back. Wrong direction. The other way. Oi. Nashi can swim. Nashi swim to the other side. Bye. Bye. You can see Nashi, it's a little spot there. It's going down the river. Nashi looked to be quite a good swimmer, so don't worry. Now it's time for me to swim. This is the same river you saw before, except that now you have eagles flying. The young eagles are now flying in the sky. It's summer, and it's been a nice time swimming in this river. The water coming down from the waterfall is clear. The water is super clear and quite cold, so it's really nice in the hot weather. Not that weather really gets too warm in the mountains, it's always quite cool. At night we have temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius. So we are here with the scrivener. The scrivener is holding the tape. He's going to measure the house because we're intending to register this as a guest house also. So I'll be managing this as a guest house for my friend when she's not around. And that's Nico and the scrivener's brother. They have been chatting for an hour under the sun. This is the Genkan, the entranceway. And once you get into the Genkan, you get to the 4 rooms. Japanese houses, especially farmhouses, they're called tanoji. Ta is the word for fields, so it's separated into 4 rooms like this. So it's actually one big room, but subdivided into smaller rooms. So if you're intending to have your friends here, just know that you have to separate them by building a wall. Well, separate rooms by building a wall, or just live with one big room. This is the view from inside the house, and you can see the floorboards are removable for inspection. When we came here during this, the carpenters and I came here during the rainy season, it was all quite damp feeling. So now that it's dried out, I'm going to place this back. The enemy of Japanese houses is moisture. So the carpenters are going to chop down some of the trees behind for use indoors. Of course, the wood be dried over some time and then used as the floorboards. So these are something like 50-60 years old at least. And the nicest things about Japanese houses is that they have a little porch like this, where you can sit here and enjoy the view outside. This tree here is a camellia tree, and especially in springtime I think it would be really nice to sit here drinking tea, looking outside. And you have this kaya buki, the kaya miscanthus reeds coming down just like at Ryunohara. The roof here is the same height, but the foundations are slightly lower, so this house is a bit smaller, but still has the same relaxed feel. It's actually quite cool here, even though it's covered by zinc on the outside, because the miscanthus reeds, it's about this thick. The worst part of this house is the kitchen. The kitchen has some leaking going on here. This was an addition to the house, so it was very simply done. And this will be the part that gets fixed first before my friends come to decide on what kind of renovations they actually want done. So the Takimotos will be placing some sheets on top to just protect this area first. As I mentioned, this house is about $10,000 US, the actual price. And the thing is, when you buy a $10,000 house, it doesn't come perfect. It comes with things like this. But we expect the total works to cost, well, if you want to make it nice and everything, replace the wood, it'll cost up to about $20,000 US. And in the past, houses didn't have bathrooms and toilets attached. They were always in a separate building, like how it is at Ryunohara. But the owner of this house, they built an extension, this area, so that you have a bathroom and the toilets over there. So this is the bathroom, and as with most Japanese bathrooms, it's kept very clean. So there's a stainless bathtub here, stainless steel bathtub. And I'm guessing they will keep this. I'm not sure, my friend has to decide, but we may replace it with nice tiles and stones, I'm not sure. So that it's nicer as a guest house. You want to come to a guest house that has a nicer feeling than just this. This is quite utilitarian. It's entirely usable, very clean, there's no smell here. And there's even a boiler, so you have hot water outside, kerosene run, just like at Ryunohara. But most people who come for a holiday stay, they want to have a nice experience, so we may have to renovate this place also. Next to the bathroom over there is the senmendai, the place where you brush your teeth. I'm not sure what you call this in English, but you have this area here to brush your teeth. We'll probably replace this with a nice wooden counter because we have a lot of wood here. And there's a washing machine here that looks quite new. I think the previous owner of this house will not want it back, so we may be able to use this. And lastly, there's a urinal here, because this house, as with most other houses in the mountains, have a septic tank outside, so it's cheaper to not flush a lot each time you use the toilet. So for guys, normally you have a urinal like this, so they can cut down on the water being used. Beside the urinal, you have, of course, the usual toilet bowl. It's a flushable toilet bowl. So it's a flush system, there's water there. Mine in Ryunohara is even older, it doesn't have water, the U-shaped thing. But this one does, and it uses a lot more water when you flush. So that means that you have to clear your septic tank more often. Each time you clear the septic tank, it costs about 10,000 yen, which is about $100 US. And for one single person household, I'll just have to do it about once a year, 1 to 1.5 years. But for like this, if you have this, you have to clear this maybe every 6 months. So there's an added cost of having a flushable toilet. Yeah, we'll be replacing this with the newest toilet, of course. Nice. This one has a washlet, but it's not a warmlet, so you have a warm butt, but not a nice washed one. This one has those the spray that they had in the past, and it's not too expensive to replace it with a brand new toilet. A brand new Neo-Rest from Toto will cost about 2,000 US, and that one comes with a sensor, so when you come in, it opens up for you, and the toilet bowl is lit up. So maybe we'll have that, I'm not sure. It's the same as Ryunohara.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't see it at all now, but
but this fits you perfectly, right?
Can you see? Straw up there.
Oh my gosh.
So if you
Yeah.
too dark, but you can see the some of the straw has fallen out. Yeah, so it's the up there. But you can still see some, so it's actually nice to expose with it. I might put netting up there so that the dust doesn't fall down. I'm thinking of that, how to do it. Here's a quick look at the whole house from the viewpoint of the Genkan. You have the Scrivener measuring stuff on the right just now, and this is the main room you step into. Then when you go on to the main room, you see the kitchen on the right and the tanoji, the 4 rooms, on the left. My friends are thinking of changing some of the floors to just wooden floors. And seeing from the inside of the house to the outside, those are the Engawa and the main entrance. Okay, so that's how a Japanese house looks like on the inside. A rural Japanese house in Wakayama. This one is a Kayabuki thatch house, so it's especially rare. It's the only Kayabuki thatch house standing in this hamlet area. The next house that has a Kayabuki roof is my house down there. So the complication with buying a Japanese house. So the owner is very old, she's 90 something, and she really wants to sell now because she says her health is deteriorating quickly, and she doesn't want to pass it down to her descendants because then you have many owners to sign contracts with and everything. So we are now getting the Scrivener, who charges about 1,000 US dollars to do all the registration works. He prepares all the documents for us. You could do it yourself, but because the owner is a foreigner, the owner is going to be a foreigner, and I just want to make sure everything's fine. We're going to hire the Scrivener to do it. You could do it yourself, yes, if you are a resident here and the owner is a resident here. So it's possible, But the thing is, this time around, at least we're going to have a scrivener do the work. What else? The other thing is the zoning of land. This plot of land here is zoned as residential land, where this house is. So that's from a map that was drawn 100 years ago. But if you look at the map that was drawn 100 years ago, this road here used to be a water channel to feed the paddy fields. So there wasn't a road here. And beside, there were paddy fields there, and this was probably used as a farm of some sort. So on the side, like far away from the main house, are little plots of land. Plus, behind all these trees, there's another plot of land there that belongs to the owner here. So what's going to happen is that foreigners who are not foreigners, but people who are not residing in Japan cannot own farmland because you're not going to farm the land. It's going to just waste the land. So what the scrivener suggested is that we register it under my name, all the lands that are not part of the house under my name, and I'll be the owner, but I'll agree privately with my friend that she actually owns the land. So it's a private agreement among us, but in the eyes of the Japanese government, I'm the owner of the lands on the side, down there on the side, but she's the owner of the house and the area under the house. So that's for legal purposes. And that's an arrangement I'm making because she's my friend, and I'm not sure, because there are taxes involved, you do have to pay taxes. So she'll be paying the taxes. It doesn't cost too much, like a couple $100 per, maybe $100 plus per year. So if I'm doing this, I might be getting more farmhouses like this, looking for more along the way. I have to live, or somebody else who wants to take care of the farm, the guest house has to live 10 minutes away. So it's not that easy to register a house as a guest house. There's a lot involved, and I'm thinking of doing this as a business. So let's see. But for now, this is the first one that a friend has purchased. I'm quite happy because it's a thatched house, and the owner was thinking of tearing it down. The previous owner was thinking of tearing it down.